3 months after a minor was raped in a Bangalore school, another shocker from the Garden City. A 3-year-old was allegedly raped inside a private school where she was enrolled. Angry parents protested outside school premises, demanding that the administration step out and address precisely what went wrong and why children cannot be protected inside a school complex.
Bangalore on the boil again. A 3-year-old allegedly sexually abused inside a private school. The offender still on the run. Angry parents demanding an answer from the school authorities. The incident coming close on the heels of a similar incident in July this year when a 6-year-old was raped in another Bangalore school. This latest incident coming to light when the child complained to her mother. Her worried parents rushing her to the hospital where sexual assault was confirmed. The shocked parents immediately lodging a police complaint.
Statement of the child and the injury and the circumstances at this point in time rule out any other possibility. It looks more like an assault.
School authorities must be held accountable. We are blaming the teacher who did it. Of course, that man must be severely punished. But what about the schools that make money from giving education to these children? We trust them, we leave our children with them and they get away with it.
Bangalore cops are examining the CCTV footage from the school. Both teaching and non-teaching staff has been questioned. But no major leads yet in the case.
This is not the first time something like this has happened in Bangalore city. In fact, this is the third. Twice previously, the predator turned out to be from within the school itself. Despite so many guidelines being issued and the chaos over implementing them, our children are still not safe. With Pratibha Raman, Ratnika Sharma for Headlines Today.
And Ratnika, who's been reporting on this story, joins me live from Bangalore. Also with us for a perspective, Vasundhara Pathak Masoodi. She's an advocate with the Supreme Court and also an activist. Thanks, Vasundhara, for joining us. Ratnika, I'd like to come to you first. Could you quickly update us, Ratnika, on where the investigation currently stands? We've seen protests by parents outside that school. As you said in your report, this is the third incident in just the last few months where a minor has been sexually assaulted on campus by an insider on that school. Where does the investigation in this case currently stand?
Well, Shiv, the police say that the investigation is still going on and there has been no official arrest so far. They are still interrogating and questioning all the male staff members and the male teachers of the school.
Yeah.
In fact, the secretary of the private school organization thinks that this time the police is more responsive as compared to the previous case. But Shiv, the fact remains that this incident has opened old wounds and parents across Bangalore city are anxious and in fact shocked that something like this could happen just within 3 months of the previous incident where a 6-year-old girl was raped in the exact almost very similar manner in a school in Bangalore.
Yes.
And they also feel that this whole incident has not instilled the kind of fear among people that would have prevented them from doing something like this. Of course, all eyes on police investigation right now because it still needs to be found out whether the incident happened within the school premises or outside. But despite the guidelines being issued and the entire chaos over implementation, because a lot of schools were against it, our children are still not really safe in schools, Shiv.
Well, clearly not. 3 cases, all involving minors in just the last few months in Bangalore city, all of them prestigious schools. Vasundhara Masoodi, where do you stand on this? Accountability is a huge issue here. These aren't just sexual predators. These are people, employed, enrolled, these are people working for money within those schools. They function absolutely just meters away from these children all the time. Where does the accountability lie? Is it just the school? Do these schools need to take the accountability as well?
Of course, that goes beyond saying, and it goes without saying, that the school should be held accountable for such incidents. Had there been a proper surveillance put in place, I'm sure such incident would not have taken place in the school premises.
Yeah. Okay, if accountability had been fixed in the first 2 cases, perhaps these cases wouldn't keep happening. We're also joined now from Bangalore by Shashi Kumar, who's a principal of the Blossom School, and also with us is Manas Reddy. He's a member of the NGO Win Bangalore. I'd like to go to Manas first quickly. Manas, what's going on? 3 cases in just the last few months in Bangalore, the message doesn't seem to have gone out about precisely how angry parents are, how unacceptable these crimes are.
Very right. You've pointed out a very valid point there. There has been an apathy in terms of the way you need to bring all the forces together.
Yes.
Like, for example, you have the government which claims to be doing its job, and you have the police who are there at present. They are there at the school. They will file some kind of a case, but at the end of the day, it never reaches the fast track courts, and the fast track courts also are not in place to handle get us justice on time. And the most important issue is that to prevent these issues from happening in the schools, you need to have a parents teachers committee or a parents committee which is actively involved in the security of their children, which does not happen because most of the times the management of the school are not allowing parents associations to actually function, right, which is going to add on to their costs or various other reasons. So the solutions are there, the people are there, the NGOs are helping, everything is there, but there should be some kind of an initiative by the government, and there should be that willingness to get it implemented and solve this problem once and for all.
All the solutions are there on the table. Shashi Kumar, a principal of Blossom School, is also live with us from Bangalore. Mr. Shashi Kumar, what do you think? Because, parents are extremely angry. Their anger currently is directed at the schools, not so much at the government, but at the schools, because, many of these are private schools. They say we pay to put our children in here, and that the safety of those children lies with the schools and the accountability rests with the schools. Do you think enough is being done as far as private schools are concerned, Mr. Shashi Kumar?
Yes, absolutely. Enough things are being done, and it is being carried out day to day, because Bangalore is the first in the country that where a special police guidelines is being issued with 9 points, where we are supposed to implement with CC cameras and security measures. There are lot of things to be covered. Apart from that, yes, definitely I agree that end of the day, school management is held responsibility. But I would also try to point it out. I, being the state secretary of Private School Association,
yes,
we regularly, almost 7 meetings has been held within this past 1 month, and we have advised all our member schools to comply with minimum possible things, because there is no compromise with the child security. Apart from this particular point, when we come up with this latest incident, I was there from morning 9 o'clock to 1:30, and I have seen all the developments. Police are taking their best to resolve this matter. Even this particular school, they have all the security measures. They have a CC camera. They have a best security measures. Though this thing has happened,
but this is all meaningless to the parents of those children, sir. This is a question I want to put to Vasundhara again. Vasundhara, the point coming in from the experts, from the NGOs, the other school principals is, we've got everything to solve this problem. If everything exists to solve the problem, what's going wrong? And, will the parents of these children who've been assaulted in this way on campus by people who are, preying on children on campus, will they be convinced by answers like that?
See, the most important thing which we must appreciate and understand is that post Nirbhaya, we had a sort of belief that such kind of incidents would somehow come down to a reasonable extent.
Because of the outrage.
Because of the extreme emotional outrage which we all have witnessed throughout India, and the extensive media coverage of the same incident. But what we have been witnessing since then is a steep and alarming rise in such kind of cases. What I feel is that the repetition of such cases and the recurrence of such kind of cases forces one to conclude that besides the failure in terms of surveillance, in terms of safety and security measure, in terms of compliance with the existing laws and all, there is something seriously wrong with the mindset of our society, with the mindset of the people of our society. There is a lack of a political and a social will to bring about a change. We have been hearing all sorts of beautiful things about Swachh Bharat. I may ask a question. Can we dream of a Swachh Bharat unless we have a Swachh Mansikta of the people of India?
Does that mean, that's a question I want to put to, Shashi Kumar, because, it's very interesting the things that he has just said. Mr. Shashi Kumar, does this mean that schools cannot completely guarantee the safety of small children? Because that's what it appears to be. You have CCTV cameras, you've got security agencies, you've got the laws to implement these things, you've got enough staff to look after the children. But schools, what it appears to suggest is that the rising number of such cases means schools cannot guarantee their safety.
Yes, I do say this. In this situation, we don't have anything other thing to say, because as school, it is trying its best at its to protect the child. But what is happening is, we have not concluded yet whether this incident has happened inside or outside, or there are very many angles. Let us come to one particular point, that we are supposed to look after the safety and security of the child. But when it comes to school and administration, yes, we do have a biggest challenge, and we'll have to look forward every now and then, because there are orders, there are police personnel, and there are verification of teachers' antecedent, and we already most of the schools, they have applied for police verification with their existing staff. Will this solve? Because after Vibgayar incidents, there were several cases, almost 9 cases reported in Bangalore with government schools and other platforms. And again, it is not just the school, it is every look and corner of the city.
Well, it's fair to say that the investigation is on right now, and there may be accountability at all levels. But I would like to conclude this particular discussion on the single point that at this point of time, the parents of the children in the 3 particular cases, the latest one that Ratnika has just brought to us, aren't going to be in a position to listen to a lot of rhetoric, to a lot of explanations. They want answers. They want the investigation to go into precisely who needs to be blamed for this heinous crime. Not just the perpetrator of the crime, but those also who perhaps let it happen because of some kind of negligence or the other. It can be mindset, it can be lack of infrastructure, it can be lack of a law that exists that is simply not being implemented,
as Manas just said.
Yes,
and of course lack of deterrence.
Absolutely. The lack of deterrence is a larger issue post the Nirbhaya case as well. We're going to leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much, Ratnika Sharma, to Vasundhara Masoodi, Manas, and as well also to Shashi Kumar for joining us on that. It's a very sensitive issue, but we will continue to track it here on Headlines Today. Also the repercussions and most importantly the investigation. Remember, hundreds of angry parents have flooded onto the roads outside many schools in Bangalore over the last few weeks because they think that schools are simply not doing enough to protect their little children who are enrolled.